right. So coming to back to the practicalities of animal telepathy, how would you describe the process to someone who has never tried it before? Where do you start from, and what actually happens? What takes place?
Nice. So a lot of people who come for the workshops as well, probably they're waiting for 2 or 3 years for a lot of things to, align, so to say, and then they come for the workshop. And we start speaking to the animals in the first 5 minutes. Right. And I have a lot of people turn around and say, is this what I was waiting for 2 to 4 years? Is it this simple? Is it this easy? Is there no induction process? Am I not to sit and do any meditation, or
right. That's
am I not supposed to do it? Yeah. And like I said, it is as easy as inhalation and exhalation. So, and you can definitely, even if you take this analogy, you can make life better by being more aware of your mere breath. Okay. Wow. The pace of inhalation, exhalation, the hold, so on and so forth. The same is with telepathy. The more you become aware of that ability, the more you can hone your skills. But is there any prep work needed? Technically, no. The only prep work needed is self-belief. The belief that I have this, and the belief that this is natural, and whether I accept it or not, I'm anyway using this muscle of mine. And this muscle is not only in my head or in my gut or in my body, but extending far beyond my awareness or my physical bodily form. So how does one get started? As simple as pop a question in your mind to your animal, and what you hear, though it may seem like your own voice, it is the animal answering. It is as simple as that.
Wow. Yeah, it's so important, I think, that you highlighted that, because I think for many practitioners, people who have done the course and they keep trying to communicate, everyone does face this doubt that, because yes, answers do come. If you have an image of an animal and you open your communication to them, an answer will come. But everyone has this doubt of, okay, is this my own head? I mean, am I talking to myself? How do I know this is the animal speaking?
Absolutely. And it's okay to have that doubt. It's okay to have that probing mind inside. And I've always maintained that doubt as well plays a very important role. Okay, so every emotion in a certain context has a certain role to play. So if doubt is manifesting as curiosity, you're definitely going to dig more, and you're going to get to the depth of something and explore and expand more. So doubt in that context, great, hold on to it. It has a function. But doubt, when it acts as a hindrance, is what one needs to actively work on, telling it to take a back seat, saying, dude, I got this. I'm fully willing to surrender to this. And now you can manifest as something else, or you can take over a different role, so to say. Okay. Let's come to another basic building block in this, which is intention, right? And intention implying energy follows thought. So if my intention is to ask myself a question, and I'm probing myself a question, so what book should I read today? What I hear in my head is me answering to myself. Okay, because who have I posed the question to? Myself. What would I like to read today? On the contrary, if I'm posing, let's say there is a cat whose name is Garfield, okay, and I want to pose a question to Garfield, saying, Garfield, what would you like to do today? Though it may sound like my own voice in my head, the intention was to ask Garfield a question. So what I hear is Garfield answering. On the other side, when I've asked myself a question, what I hear is me answering to myself. So if we even establish this as a building block, that how do I know it's me or the animal? Simple. You refine first, who are you asking the question to? Second, if you are in doubt and if you think, oh my God, am I making this up? Simple thing is, ask the animal, dude, is this you or is this me? Something as simple as that. And you get a yes or a no answer. We fear asking questions, because with humans, not too many humans are okay with being probed, but animals on the contrary will say, ask as much as you want to, and we are more than happy to guide you to your spot of clarity, or to where you feel, okay, now I have sought clarity. We're more than happy to lead you up to there.
In your experience, first of all, your own personal experience, and then having taught so many people about this practice as well, how have you found that people receive their answers? Is it through words? Do people suddenly hear a voice, or do you see images, or how does the communication go through in your experience?
So good question, Devina, on that. All of us, like we discussed earlier, have 5 senses. Okay, each sense has an internal representation. Okay, so you could be sitting where you are and you could still think of how your clothing cupboard looks, or how your kitchen looks, or what you did, say, yesterday, last evening, for example. So you will have visual internals, auditory internals, you'll have an internal kinesthetic or a feeling of touch and sensation as well. So a lot of what we receive from animals, the manner in which we receive, is an internal representation. Okay, now a lot of us have some senses stronger than the others. We are born with all 5 equally strong, but it is which muscle you may use more often depending on your profession or the life choices you've made so far, right? So ideally we receive with all 5 senses, but some senses internally may be slightly stronger than the others for some people. So predominantly some individuals in the early stages might receive more dominant images. Some people may dominantly receive an auditory reference, like a conversation with the animal. And for some, it could be, all 5 equally strong and they're being flooded by it. So some people ask me, how long will it take for me to have all 5 strong and for me to receive with all 5? Honestly, the breath in which you decide that from this exhale, that everything is going to be fully open, expansive, and I'm going to start receiving. One intentful exhale, one intentful breath can change everything, because you know that most decisions are actually made in a moment. Most major decisions are made, things flip in one breath. So the same attitude and aptitude needs to be applied in the context of telepathically receiving something. It's already an ability inside us. So
Another really fascinating thing I discovered whilst doing your workshop is this communication extends not only to existing animals or animals who are in their form, but animals who have transitioned, or to put simply, who have passed away, who are no more, but the communication can still happen. This
Absolutely.
is incredible. Can you explain this phenomena a little bit?
Sure. So let's rewind to the concept that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's only changing form. So though the physical vehicle may drop its body, the soul energy still exists. Okay. So whether the individual, whether it's a human, or whether it is an animal, or whether it's a tree, even a mountain that earlier existed, that got excavated, still has its own energy field, still exists in there that you can communicate with. The fact is that physicality does not define it anyway. See our linguistics as well. Everybody says, I, me, myself, this is mine, because we feel that our body creates this illusion that I am separate from you, or I am separate from this mug, or I am separate from this table or another individual, implying that we define a lot of things by the physical form. So whether the physical form is there or not, the soul energy still exists, and you can have a vivid conversation with an animal. Don't we do this in our rituals, irrespective of the religion? There are rituals for people after they have transitioned from the physical body, because we want them to be on their onward journey. Okay, in a certain manner, their karmic contracts need to be revisited, so on and so forth, implying that body never really defines anything. The soul is still around, the energy is still around, and we can seamlessly connect and communicate with.
Wow, you've touched upon such an interesting topic, which is kind of the spiritual aspect of it, and this is ultimately, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is quite an esoteric practice and belief system, right? So, is it to say that an atheist would not connect with this, or maybe even say Christians who don't believe in reincarnation?
Even if a person is an absolute atheist, a non-believer who doesn't believe in going, whether it's a temple, a masjid, or a a church for that matter, we're again just facing one wall and looking at something and praying, right? So whether we go inside that space or not, maybe the same space is achieved by this individual within. This could be where the person is achieving what they want. For some, they probably need to take a different path of going into an institution to achieve the same outcome. This so-called non-believer could be achieving what he has to within this existence, and thus he doesn't need to seek in that manner. Okay, if we establish that as one reference. The second, when we say a lot of this is esoteric, or a lot of people say it is paranormal, we don't even know what normal is. And when we say it is paranormal or it is parallel to normal, we have no idea what is normal. We say, this person is normal. How are you defining that this person is normal and that is abnormal, and what you are doing is not either of the two? So anything that exists around us that we feel we can't put into some box of measurement, we say it is esoteric or paranormal. Okay, but this box itself could be very skewed in its measurement, so we don't even know. I mean, in this lockdown period post this virus making things or aligning things for us in many ways, a lot of people say, oh, I'm waiting to go back to normalcy. What are you waiting to go back to? Whether it was that old normal that caused it, or whether a new normal is going to emerge out of this. So normal itself is probably a very skewed concept to begin with. And people who we feel don't believe in these things internally probably are already where the others are seeking to be. Okay, they probably don't need these methods. They're already there. They already are aligned. Whether one believes in it or not, they're probably getting it anyway, or they're probably already there. They don't need to seek it differently.
So a practice like this falls where?
Wherever one would like it to, because there is no real place. I mean, I had this Buddhist monk. He's a very, very wonderful individual. He heads the Deer Park Institute in Himachal. And once in a chat, he was asking a couple of us that where would you point to where your unconscious mind is? Where is your conscious mind? And none of us could. So some people said, okay, my conscious mind is here. And he said, okay, so is it this spot, or is it the spot on which the finger touches, or is it the brain, or where is it? Because we can't really pinpoint where is my conscious mind, where is my unconscious mind. So where shall we put this concept? Maybe nowhere. It's everywhere anyway. So we don't need to put it anywhere into any compartment, blocks, or any sites. Maybe it's just all around us anyway. So.
Yes, absolutely. That's what they say though, right? Again, going back to scientific proofs, we know for a fact that our eyes, our ears, all our senses can actually only absorb and process a very small part of the spectrum. We can only see a very small part of what's actually happening, and we can hear only a limited frequency. That's why animals can hear certain high-pitched frequencies which humans can't, because we just cannot. We cannot process them, or perhaps we are not trained to do it. So I guess this links in with
to a certain extent. Yes, to a certain extent, definitely yes. Again, what we can and cannot do, what we're capable and not capable of, our yardsticks are again measured by what the physical body can and cannot do. Can the animal hear this or not hear this? Again, we have made these tools to measure something, to measure that aspect or element within the animal. Okay, but there is so much more that our subtle body, our extended mind can gather, which the physical body may not. But our tools are all made to measure something. You know, for example, if you take our medical tests, a test in medicine has been made, or a pathological test is made to measure a specific aspect, let's say component ABC. So when I measure ABC, the test has been made to measure that. I measure how much ABC exists in your body, but I have not made an experiment or a pathological tool to measure XYZ and KBC in it. So they exist, but just because I have not made a tool to measure it does not mean they don't exist. The same thing is with what my body can and cannot do, is again what we have constructed as tools and seeing what fits in it. If it doesn't fit in it, it does not exist. You know, so